This is a joke.
Is this
An example.
Truth.
the movies?
This really is a camera obscura. We call it a sunscope, and it allows us to look at the eclipse without injury to our eyes.
Why can't you stare into the eclipse? And what's it gonna do really? I stare at the sun every day. You stare at the sun every day? Well, look at it.
Of course, they attempt to scare you and tell you you're going to get cataracts or potentially blindness. Now, if it's the moon occulting the sun, why can't you stare at it then? You can sun gaze all the time when nothing's blocking it, but when it's the moon and there's actually something to see, I don't want you to look at it.
Some Vermont students got some pretty good news that classes will be canceled on April 8th during the big total solar eclipse. Across Vermont and New York, 11 districts so far, including the Milton Town School District and Peru Central Schools, will not hold classes on April 8th.
Conspiracy theorists that I'm sure believe Earth is a ball were running around making videos talking about this eclipse on April 8th, claiming, well, the schools are closed because there's something going to happen. And then some of the more credible ones would claim the schools are all shutting down because they don't want to be responsible for all these kids going blind because they're staring at the eclipse. That's why they're keeping these kids at home. They won't be responsible for damaging your eyesight. In 1979, I saw an eclipse. And as most people know, when they're in grade school, you and your friends dare each other to do things. Teachers told us not to look at it. We need to look in the shoebox. Well, we got behind the teacher and both dared each other to stare at it. I kind of look over at him. He was looking, and then I'd look at it. He'd stare at me to see if I was checking it out. And after the entire thing, I didn't go blind. I didn't need glasses. None of that happened. I suffered some eye damage, according to powers that be. Is it really their concern that you're going to hurt your eyes? Or did they send these kids home because they didn't want them to experience the goading and the daring from other school children? And then later on, down the line, when they grow up, they would know this idea that you'll go blind if you stare at it or damage your eyes, just a BS story.
I have heard that coming up on Monday, April 8th, we have a solar eclipse coming our way. Now, part of the nation may get a total view of the eclipse, but not in Colorado. So here's the breakdown. Here's the path of the total eclipse. You can see it coming across Texas all the way back into Ohio here. On either side, you have a lesser percentage. So if you're in central Kansas, you got about an 80%. Here in Colorado, it's going to be about 60 to 65 over our home state here, and lesser the further west you go on the west coast out there. So here's the deal on the eclipse. Monday, April 8th.
Kapow! Truth bomb.
Partial eclipse begins at 11:28 a.m. 65% is all we're going to get in the Denver metro area, and that happens at 12:40 p.m. So right during the lunch hour here, and then it's done by 1:54 p.m. But this is about what it will look like with about 65% of that covered. You want to make sure, though, if you do look at this coming up on April 8th, protect your eyes. Never look directly at the sun. Proper eye protection is a must for you.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Like eclipse glasses or special solar filters that you can get. That's the only safe option. And remember, sunglasses do not work. They protect your eyes if you're just looking down.
Yeah. Right.
You question, why can't we see stars in pictures from the ISS? Earth is so bright that it drowns out the dimmer light of the background stars. It's Earthshine, folks. I'm saying all this so that we can go into the detail of these folks that produce videos claiming, oh, if you put a layer on it and you adjust the filters, you can see that it's the moon blocking the sun during the total solar eclipse. However, if you look at it with your own eyes, since I've now witnessed 4 of them, all except the annular eclipse, I could tell that it's a completely smooth dark orb. There's no craters. Therefore, it can't be the moon faulting the sun. But if this logic was correct, this isn't a fallacy in mere Photoshop to make the sun appear as if the moon is occulting it, and people claiming, oh, it's exposure settings. If it is the moon, then when you see an eclipse that occurs out over the ocean, right here, the path totality is very narrow. So why couldn't you see on one of these spots, because of the earth shine off of the ocean, the fact that it is the moon? None of these people that are only impartial totality can see the outline and the craters of the moon if they were looking at it without special filters or they call it aperture settings on their camera. Can't you just use earth shine to then illuminate the surface of the moon so that it could be seen somewhere over here that's not in totality? These are logical processes and thoughts that one can use to ascertain this is BS. And that you can only come to when you observe it with your own eyes. When you dismiss the logic of them telling you, don't look at it, you'll go blind, you'll damage your eyes. Look at it. If the Bible is true, and the sun, moon, and stars are a sign unto us, better look at it, because it reveals that it's a completely smooth dark orb and not the moon. But only if you look at it with your own eye, not through a welding helmet.
And another thing we can see in the data is actually the Earth shine, albeit a little bit vaguely, but the Earth is still going to be lit up during a solar eclipse. The moon's shadow is not big enough to cover the entire Earth, so you get some light reflecting off of Earth and actually hitting the dark side of the moon. So we can kind of resolve the side of the moon towards us. So if you really stretch the curves on mine, you can kind of make out some regional shading, but it really pops when I overlay somebody else's data. So I'm just going to grab the opacity slider here and just do that, which lines up really well with some of the regional shading on my image, though the transparency wasn't that great, so I didn't come away with something super distinct, but it's there.
Yeah. Right.
That's bullshit. Yeah, it's bullshit.
Apologists for the assholes out there, don't engage in real science. They'll just take their cognitive dissonance and find anything that conforms to that belief system and then repeat it. Case in point is this Kay Denny fake image that's going around. And I say fake because of the fact that I've looked with my own eyes at 4 solar eclipses. One of them an annular, which did not show the smooth dark orb because I believe there's too much sunlight. You get in a place that's got over 92% blockage or occultation of the sun, you will see the smooth orb appear right before, right after totality. That's why these nassholes tell you never to look at it. You'll go blind. You'll damage your eyes. It's bullshit because they don't want you to see the fact that it's not the moon. The very fact that you have flags across for different nations that show the moon with a star in the center of it, which you can, observe yourself, is proof that the moon can't block light from the sun. It can't block a star. I say no, and he comes back and says, that's your claim. Burden of proof to demonstrate this. No, if it's a proof and you can demonstrate it, the scientific method is based on repeatable observation, people. Why can't you go take your own 4K photo? See, you have to get Kay Denny or some other clown that has their own special overlay or exposure settings See the moon appear right here. They're all using the same one. So if it's real and it's Earthshine and you can resolve the moon, these people with their own cameras, their own telescopes, ought to be able to do this without using one person, so-called Photoshop image. Religion of the 21st century is scientism. Fake space and lies that people want to overlay during the eclipse to prove, look, it's the moon. I've got this special overlay. You got to have special camera settings to make it appear. Different countries, the star shining through the moon. This is just another example of truth in plain sight.
Hi, Blue Fox here. On September 27th, 2015, I took pictures of the eclipse of the moon. I set up my 5-inch telescope using a 17mm eyepiece and took these snapshots. You will notice in the pictures, stars show through the dark portions of the moon. And as I go through them, I'll blow them up a little larger so you can see these stars. I'll point to one. There's a blue star here, a white star. There's another star right here that shows up quite good. And that's that picture. Move on to the next one. You can actually see the stars here. Now we'll zoom in and we'll see a red star with a white star right in here. And then there's 3 stars, a white star, a blue star, and another blue star. You can see 2 stars here, there's another star here, 2 stars down the bottom, and another star here. So we'll zoom that up for you. There's the one on the bottom. Some stars shining through. And we look at this, we see the stars shining through again.
Okay, here's my setup. As you can see, there's a sunspot there, and there's one down or up over here. It'll come back into focus when the wind quits blowing.
And false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets.
I'd like to make myself believe that planet Earth turns slowly, and use my head alongside my heart, so tame my flesh and fix my eyes, a tethered mind freed from the lies. Love sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name.
Now reach the other side, keep my eyes wide, eyes wide, eyes wide.
wish you had me. Whatever you want. I turn the tables instead. You've taken lots of chances before, but I ain't gonna give any more. Don't ask me, that's how it goes. 'Cause part of me knows what you're thinking. The sun in your eyes made some of the lies worth believing. I am the eye in the sky.
In your mind for the memories you blocked out. Information that you knew was true but locked out. Conversations that you wish could be repeated. Warning calls that you wish you would have heeded. Thought all those Christians were living in denial, but now you do anything to understand the Bible. Every poppycock propaganda confusion. Examine and study the entire picture and every ingredient inside the mixture. Then ask yourself, which of the sides are you choosing? Have you bought into lies or the things you're assuming? What type of role in the game are you playing? And can you explain anything that you're claiming?
Hello everyone. Today I am very excited to share with you some information that just blew me away. For the last year, I've been seeing quite a few Flat Earth videos talking about the April 8th, 2024 eclipse across North America, and a lot of channels questioned whether it was actually the moon that eclipsed the sun. Honestly, I thought these Flat Earth claims about the moon were nonsense. Under the Flat Earth model, it only makes sense that as both the sun and moon travel on their respective paths between the tropics, that once in a while the sun and moon would connect, resulting in an eclipse where the moon is in front of the sun. That made sense to me. I truly didn't understand why Flat Earthers were arguing this point. But one key thing that I've learned since Flat Earth is not to hold on to your preconceptions and prejudices too tightly. Late last night, I watched this video from the channel Hanging on His Words. I'll have a link to his channel in the description. The gentleman with the beard who made the presentation is named Jeremy McGarry. Jeremy is a senior engineer and has 19 patents to his name. In short, Jeremy is going to present meticulous video evidence detailing why it's impossible that it was the moon that eclipsed the sun. And this presentation absolutely shocked me. The presentation is over 50 minutes long, and so I wanted to provide a quick summary of what Jeremy discovered. First, Jeremy, who lived in Erie, Pennsylvania, which was within the totality pathway of the 2024 eclipse, hooked up a time-lapse camera to his house that had a view of the pathways of both the sun and the moon. The camera was fixed to the house and did not move. For a couple of weeks, Jeremy filmed the paths of both the sun and the moon, and the trajectory of the paths of both the sun and the moon are the same on the camera. He spends quite a bit of time plotting these pathways. Here's what his time-lapse looked like. You can see how the pathway makes this arc in the sky. The sun expectedly rose higher up the camera each day, and the moon first dropped and then rose back up to the point that the moon fell on the same pathway as the sun. None of this falls outside mainstream arguments. At first glance, one might quickly say, well, that proves that it's the moon that's eclipsing the sun. I actually thought the same thing, and I thought that was where Jeremy was going with his presentation. I missed some of the initial discussion. But here's the problem. As detailed by Jeremy, the trajectory of the sun and the moon were supposed to be on the exact same pathway. And that's confirmed by the United States Naval Observatory as indicated here. But the trajectory of the object that passes in front of the sun during the 2024 eclipse is not on the same trajectory. In fact, it is substantially different. So different that it's impossible that it's a simple mistake. The diagram of the eclipse on the right side is how the eclipse should have happened. Instead, the object that passes in front of the sun comes from a different trajectory, from the bottom, as shown on the photograph on the left side. Left is actual, right is how it should have happened if it was indeed the moon. Do you see the differences in the angles? According to Jeremy, it's physically impossible that it was the moon in front of the sun. Here he is with a wooden model describing the issue again. The eclipse should have come from the right, with the sun and the moon on the same trajectory. Instead, the object that comes in front of the sun comes from the bottom, which debunks everything we thought we knew about the eclipse. Well, at least for me.
I'm going to take a look at this wonderful tool for all the globers who are laughing at the personal celestial sphere or the personal azimuthal grid of observability or the azimuthal grid of vision. For all the people who don't understand that concept, because honestly, the people who laugh are the ones who don't understand, right? Let's look at how you actually use the celestial sphere and how it is used to portray everything in the sky. Literally, without the personal celestial sphere, you wouldn't be able to identify any object, any declination, any time, etc. So they do use a globe here, like, ooh, you guys got me. It's a globe, right? So they're demonstrating on a map on Earth, and they're showing you over here in the regular Mercator where you can choose to manipulate, showing you the, of course, very well-known longitude and latitude system that we are so wonderfully comfortable with and familiar with. And then we'll just put it over here. We'll show all this stuff, I think, because why not? We'll add some stars and we'll show some star trails, right? And then we'll just make sure we have all the constellations. So we would pick a location, and this would of course move and scale variantly, exactly as Walter Bisland's personal azimuthal grid would, right? Scaling with, what is it? Latitude. Everything is latitude dependent.
The celestial sphere mapped 1-1 to the geoid Earth under the sun. Longitude and latitude side by side. In this cosmic dance we take a ride. Oh, latitude and longitude guiding our way. In the sky and on Earth we forever stay. Oh, latitude and longitude in perfect line, mapping the stars, crossing space and time. Great circles and trigonometry, navigating through infinity. Right ascension, declination to align the heavens with the view. Oh, latitude and longitude guiding our way. In the sky and on Earth we forever stay. Oh, latitude and longitude in perfect line, mapping the stars, crossing space and time. From the Earth's equator to celestial height, coordinates align. In the day and night, sidereal time and the vernal point. In the celestial map, we all anoint. Oh, latitude and longitude guiding our way. In the sky and on Earth we forever stay. Oh, latitude and longitude in perfect line, mapping the stars, crossing space and time. From the Earth's equator, celestial height, coordinates align. In the day and night, sidereal time and the vernal point. In the celestial map, we all anoint. Oh, latitude and longitude guiding our way. In the sky and on Earth they forever stay. Oh, latitude and longitude in perfect line, mapping the stars, crossing space and time. From the Earth's equator, the celestial map we all anoint. To celestial height, coordinates align. In the day and night, sidereal time and the vernal point. In the celestial map we all anoint.
So they pick a spot, and then this small little dome here imitates what you would see for the stars. This is the only way to emulate stars. This is the only way we can envision stars, right? So personal azimuthal grid, personal celestial sphere, whatever you want to call it, when you laugh and say that everyone has one of these, that is literally how it works. That is how your observer-based grids work. In Stellarium, you have the azimuthal grid, which is observer-based, has to be personalized, and that is the only way you can compare azimuth, right? Otherwise, you'd have no idea where you tell a friend on the other side of the world where a star would appear. So, again, everyone should be aware of what the model is that you use before you want to laugh at the model that's going to replace it. That's better. Thanks.
You believe in satellites. You're retarded, your head ain't right. NASA's a liar, full of shite, but you believe them day or night. Totally full of shite. From Michio Kaku to Neither Light, heliosexual science guys who have their balls buried in your eyes, so you're too blind to see the light. You know what you are? Space cunt, you're a space cunt. You think that space is real, but you're fucking dumb. Space cunt, you're a space cunt, and NASA really turns you on. You know what they're doing to you. Now don't get me wrong, I know that vacuums are strong, but not as strong as you sucking NASA's dome. When you're on your knees, it's hard to see the light with NASA's jizz in your eyes. You love black holes, not just the ones in space. You got Neil deGrasse's ass in your face. And if you believe that planets are rocks, you've been sucking too much Brian Cox. Space cunt, you're a space cunt. You think that space is real, but you're fucking dumb. Space cunt, you're a space cunt, and NASA really turns you on. Space cunt, you're a space cunt. Ain't no way to say it without being blunt. Space cunt, you're a space cunt, and NASA really turns you on. They will stick it to you more and more, you dirty space whore. They will turn you upside down and inside out. They will make you feel the real deal. They'll make you feel that space is real by banging you from behind. Look at all these space cunts. She's a space cunt. It's true. Space cunt, you're a space cunt. You think the space is real, but you're fucking dumb. Space cunt, you're a space cunt, and NASA really turns you on. Space cunt, you're a space cunt. Ain't no way to say it without being blunt. Space cunt, you're a space cunt, and NASA really turns you on. Space cunt, you're a space cunt. You think that space is real, but you're fucking dumb. Space cunt, you're a space cunt, and NASA really turns you on. Space cunt, you're a space cunt. Ain't no way to say it without being blunt. Space cunt, you're a space cunt, and NASA really turns you on. Space cunt, you're a space cunt. You think the space is real, but you're fucking dumb. Space cunt, you're a space cunt, and NASA really turns you on. Yeah, NASA really turns you on. Yeah, NASA really turns you on. You love to suck on NASA's dome.